Hello, I'm Sarah Acton. I'm a writer and this is Wild Writing. Wild Writing is commissioned by Activate as part of the Micro Commissions programme, and it's run in partnership with Stepping into Nature. Wild Writing simply means writing, getting creative outside, so it's wherever you feel comfortable to sit for 10 to 20 minutes, to daydream, to get creative, and to do a few very simple activities, just to think and reflect and to get some new ideas. I'm here on Langdon Hill near to Golden Cap on this absolutely glorious July evening, but I hope you found somewhere that suits you to write, and I hope you've got a paper and pen. I'd like to invite you to start with to just think about the question, how does the weather affect your mood? How do different weathers make you feel? And you might want to pause in a moment and just make some notes about that. Your journal's your own, your notebook, so no one else will look in that, and it's quite good to write in fragments. It's quite useful to then pick up pieces when you come back into it. And if you'd like to do a bit of automatic writing, that is writing non-stop for 5 minutes, then that's a really good way of just getting things down on the page as well. And you could start your automatic writing by thinking about a certain extreme weather that's been going on for years and years. So for me, maybe just intense sunshine for 100 years. Thinking of that, thinking it had been sunny for 100 years, and just starting my automatic writing. And the automatic writing always starts, you'll be saying what you know, and then hopefully if you follow your pen, you'll go somewhere unknown and have a few surprises as well. It's a really good practice to start off. So if you need to, just pause the video now and time yourself for 5 minutes if you're doing the automatic writing. I'd like to invite you next to write 2 lists side by side in your notebook. On one side of the page you'll have all types of different weather, and on the other side of the page all types of different shades of colour. So for example you might have raindrops, snowdrops, shafts of sunlight, gales, storms, hurricanes, things like that. And on the other side, pale green, lime green, you might have silver grey, you might have bright gold. And when you've done that, you might have like 5 or 10 on each side, and if you need to pause to do that, you can pause now. And then when you've done that and you've got 5 to 10, just pair them up randomly. So you might then find you've got bright gold raindrops or lime green storm clouds, and that's good. It's not the usual way that you describe those. Pick your favourite one, and that's going to be the title to a piece of prose or a poem in a moment. But first of all, I'd like to read you 2 weather poems. The first one is called Weathers by Thomas Hardy. This is the weather the cuckoo likes, and so do I. When showers betumble the chestnut spikes, and nestlings fly, and the little brown nightingale bills his best, and they sit outside at the traveller's rest, and maids come forth sprig muslin dressed, and citizens dream of the south and west, and so do I. This is the weather the shepherd shuns, and so do I. When beeches drip in browns and duns, and thresh and ply, and hill-hid tides throb, throw on throw, and meadow rivulets overflow, and drops on gate bars hang in a row, and rooks in families homeward go, and so do I. And the second poem is called The Warm and the Cold by Ted Hughes. Freezing dusk is closing like a slow trap of steel on trees and roads and hills and all that can no longer feel. But the carp is in its depth like a planet in its heaven, and the badger in its bedding like a loaf in the oven, and the butterfly in its mummy like a viol in its case, and the owl in its feathers like a doll in its lace. Freezing dusk has tightened like a nut screwed tight on the starry aeroplane of the soaring night. But the trout is in its hole like a chuckle in a sleeper. The hare strays down the highway like a root going deeper. The snail is dry in the outhouse like a seed in the sunflower. The owl is pale on the gatepost like a clock on the tower. And finally, you've got your title now. So mine was Bright Gold Raindrops. Whatever your favourite pairing was from the weather and the colour. And I'd like to invite you to write a 7-line, just 7 lines, poetry, prose, or a short story. Having restrictions is a really good way of having to make decisions. In any poem and any short story, every single word counts, so you're always making decisions and really training yourself into writing concisely and clearly. And just some ideas for your poem or short story. Set it in the place where you're sitting now. You've got the title. Pick a character. It could be yourself, or it could be another person, or it could be a creature, or it could be something that's in the scenery. It could be a tree for me here in Langdon Hill. And write about how the weather's affecting that character inside and out. And just have a little bit of fun with it. Please send us your wild writing. We'd love to read your writing. We'd love to share it as well. The details of how to do that are at the top of this post and also on the Activate website. I'm going to go in a moment, so good luck with your writing. But first of all, the tip for this workshop is that creativity is the achievement. Just getting something down on paper, that's not time wasted. Even if it feels like you haven't done a complete poem or short story, just allowing that time to be playful and creative is the achievement in itself. It doesn't have to be perfect. It rarely always is. But the exploration, the play, is the place where the creative process really happens, and all sorts of things can come out of that, which are surprising and amazing. So good luck, and I'll see you soon.